My laughter, make casa, su casa. Su casa, all in all.
I need everybody to move to the left, to the right. Alternate, drop it.
Lose you this time, I win it. No time, I'm gonna winnie, wanna your love, they do me one time. Oh my, I'm getting it. Show me how you feeling this night. I'm gonna say your love, and I'm winnie, wanna your love, they do me this time. I need your grace, we never regret. I'm not to get shit, you know that the case. Sweet, sweet days, I'm not to get shit. Seconds, everything done bust. The kind of love I get for you now, man, am I too cost? He asked me what I love for life, I said, what you know go judge us. Every day, make I see my mama smile, that make me the more push. One me, they can go love it. One me, they can go love it.
Who's ready to party? Okay. 24/7, girl, you did my mind. And I know you want me to go. Yo, it's a vibe. Heard you got me, I heard you lose. What you sipping on? And I want you to know that girl is not that easy. To myself, you are
Party after party, party after party, party after party, after party after party.
What you sipping on? I want you to know that girl is not that easy. Here you go.
Final day I say, you say get the bomb, get the bomb, get the bomb, get the bomb, get the bomb. See that day we shy, that day we shy. See that day we man, that day we man. See 1960, yeah. That day we shy. See 1940, that day we shy.
Alternate sound.
Saws, report to the dance floor. It's a mad thing going on here tonight. DJ Big.
All right, what's going on? Instagram, Facebook, everyone.
There's a sound coming. Is it your headphones?
Yeah, I'll turn it off right now. What's going on, everyone?
They can't see your face, babe.
They can't do.
No, they can't.
Look.
On Instagram. Not.
Oh, Instagram.
Duh. Move this back a little bit.
Instagram is always going to be a struggle because of what's going on Instagram. All right. So, can you see? You want me to move this a little forward?
No, it's supposed to be backward.
All right, so let's talk about it. 14 signs of an insecure man.
Baraka de Salah, my people.
What is that?
For the Muslims in the house.
Okay.
What do you mean, what is that?
Is that how it's pronounced
That's
for other people that are not Nigerians?
Baraka de Salah. I don't know what is pronounced for the people that are not Nigerians, but
anyway, Ecuador. All right, so let's talk about it. We got a couple of things that we want to cover. As you can imagine, who's in the house? If you're hanging out with us, let us know. It's gonna be fun. This topic is a big topic. This is a big topic. All right. So if you can hear us clearly, just let us know that you can hear us clearly. That would be nice, just to make sure. Actually, I can check it myself. Big topic. Oh, perfect. All right, good. So we could get started.
Finally, Jesus.
Yeah. So the reason for that, not to teach people to come here late or anything like that, right?
I want to know. I'm curious. What's the reason?
Live streams in general, right? Live streams in general, it takes a minute for the algorithms and the almighty social media gods to let people know that we're live.
Okay.
All right. So when you go live, when you see that thing on Instagram that says this person just went live, that's actually 2-3 minutes after the person went live. So we want to make sure that people come in and then settle down, kind of like a real meeting. So that's how it's set up. All right. So now that also gives us the opportunity to share it to the social medias while we're live.
Okay.
Once we already go live, so people can see that we're live. So at least they can hear some music and things like that. So that's why we do that.
Okay.
So I was trying to be careful not to go into a full-blown speech on that.
It's okay.
But hopefully that was clear enough. Does that make sense?
Sorry for the gods.
All right. Yeah.
Understanding of it now.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. When I say insecure, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you? We got a couple of things to do. We're going to review 2 shows.
Yes.
Particularly 2 scenes. Okay. All of those 2 shows, majorly. We're not going to spend too much time on the shows, maybe 5 to 10 minutes on each one. Okay. Then we will dive into this 14 signs of an insecure man. Now, they're signs because when you see them, that's not your cue to leave your marriage. It's just your cue to know that, hey, trouble is brewing.
Okay.
And you should do something about it. So as we go through each one of them, we will talk about things you can do about that, about an insecure man. If you're married to one, or if you're a man and you see some of these things in you and what you can do about that. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is, can you share with us what's the first thing that comes to mind for you when you hear insecure man? What is that to you?
Insecure man to me is a man that is not self-sustainable, can be by himself. Okay. Is possessive, controlling, is always seeking for validation from you. Is sensitive to everything you say. You're scared to tell him what you really feel. He's emotionally charged.
Is that a crime?
I mean, if you're emotional, you have to know when to... Or let me say,
is being insecure even a crime?
Is it? No, it's not a crime. You just have to know that you're insecure and take care of it, because it's not okay. You can push people away from you. You can lose out on the best relationship because of your insecurity. So it's not a crime. I mean, you shouldn't be thrown into jail, but they're usually emotionally charged. They don't know how to, they don't have an emotional balance. They just lose it like that. And what else can I say?
So let me ask that question in a different way. You're absolutely right. They don't throw people in jail for being insecure, but is it right or wrong?
It's not a matter of right or wrong. That's why I said, if you see those signs in yourself, you need to start working on yourself. It's a sign of weakness. It's not about being right or wrong. Sometimes people don't even know they're insecure until someone points it out to them, or they find themselves in a situation that, they've lost something and they're like, okay, and they check themselves, like be accountable, like check yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong? You can't always be the victim in situations. Not not everyone's around to get not everyone is out there to get you. Sometimes you have to check yourself and say, maybe I'm, what am I doing to attract people like this?
Okay.
So it's not a crime to me. It's not.
That's fair.
You just have to build yourself.
So even though it's not a crime, it can hurt you. It can hurt your relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can hurt you.
Yeah. All right. So insecurity. Now, do you think everyone is insecure somehow, some way? How would you express that exactly? Obviously, there's multiple aspects of life for all of us as
everyone has something that they know about themselves that could be better. Don't lie to yourself when you think that there's no perfect human being. You yourself, you know that thing. That you know what, if I work on this, I could be a better human being. So everyone has something that they're not all the way comfortable with.
Right.
Like they feel like, you know what, why do I feel like I'm lacking in this aspect?
Right.
So there's no perfect human being, like I said. We can only work to be better human beings if we can be real with ourselves.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. So there are many things that happen in relationships that is neither right nor wrong. But no matter how you want to shape it, it's hurting your relationship.
Yes.
And those are the things we like to talk about, because a lot of people just want to, they want to basically just dwell on
right and wrong. Yeah.
So even in recent times, I've made it a point to just acknowledge, because now I have to practice on them. The people that want to be right, acknowledge them and validate them. You're right. It is wrong.
Then what's next?
Now let's talk about fixing this issue.
That's exactly my issue with people most of the time. They're quick to say, oh, this is right or this is wrong. But what can we do? We need to be solution-oriented human beings. As a matter of fact, if you don't have solutions to stuff, you need to shut the hell up. That's just what it is. Because if you can contribute to making this world a better place, then you're part of the problem. But people, again, we're in a judgmental world where people just want to throw, this person is horrible, this person is bad, it's a weakness. It is a weakness.
So, and weaknesses are not crimes.
No, they're not. Unfortunately, you can't throw them in jail for that.
Right.
Except if they hurt somebody, okay?
Right. Well, not emotionally or verbally. You're talking
physically. If you put your hands on someone.
You mean assault, right? Because we hurt each other all the time, verbally and emotionally.
Yes.
Doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just saying, when you get into a relationship with people, that will happen.
Right. At some point, it's a finish.
So, so it's very important to just pay attention to this when you're addressing relationship related issues, right? It's the easiest thing to do is just to point out right and wrong.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do. We could just say, hey, that was wrong. No, she shouldn't have done that. She's a narcissist. She should all this.
Okay, we already know.
You're right.
Okay,
you're absolutely right. She's a narcissist. She's a cheater. She's insecure. Low self-esteem. She's evil. Right? She's all those things, right?
She's a demon.
She was wrong. But now these two people still want to be in a relationship. So how do we move forward? That's really, really key.
Yes.
That's really key. So with that being said, let's dive into which one do you want to go with first on the two shows?
I guess marriage boot camp.
All right. Let's do marriage boot camp.
Yes.
Let's talk about marriage boot camp. Let's do that. So marriage boot camp, by now, if you come here every Friday, come on, you should know about it. But if you're here, our channel is actually a lot of the audience here now. It's a marriage boot camp. And this is more like a marriage boot camp we do here every Friday, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So we should talk about it. So this show is going on right now. They just did episode 5 yesterday. So the first thing I want to do is let me go find that video. I want to play the video right? I'll play the video, and then you're probably just going to hear it, but you can also play it back on our wall if you want to do that.
Right, it's on the wall. Yeah, on
It's on the wall.
Instagram.
Yeah. But
Hey,
that
and
way we
YouTube
can,
too, right?
yeah. Plus, we have another video of us reacting to what just happened. But after, so there's this guy called Vado and Tahiri, and they're a couple on the show. And there was a big blowout on the last episode. But before the episode actually aired, we saw a clip of him getting aggressive with the young lady.
Right.
You know, but after we saw the show, she was also
They're both aggressive, by the way.
aggressive. You know, so and I've seen a few people come on the platform and say, "Hey, not to support nothing, but they both don't need to be together." She's also violent.
I agree. It's a toxic relationship.
Right.
It's horrible.
It's a toxic relationship. Absolutely, 100%. So today we're talking about 14 signs of an insecure man. So if you want to see that full-blown thing, if you're watching the recording of this later or anything like that, you may have to go watch the full, maybe 2 hours. Who knows how long we're going to be here, right?
Not more than 2 hours. Okay.
No. I meant like maybe less than that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So first thing I want to do is I want to play back. No, this is not the one we're doing.
We're doing marriage boot camp, babe.
Oh, this is not the one we're doing. We're doing this one. There you go. This one. Yeah, I think it's this one. That's a 22 seconds video. So let's just play it back. All right.
Crazy to y'all. I look extra aggressive.
Yo, like, no. Fuck it out. No. Like, you look, y'all.
All right.
Are you kidding me? This house is on fire.
Just do that apple on my face for me. I'm going to the county.
There you go. So that's the video right there. It's a short video. Hey, what's going on, Auntie Gladys? We can't wait till tomorrow.
Hey, Auntie Gladys.
Yeah. So so here's the issue with that. So this gentleman, when we saw the clip, it was him charging at this girl, basically like this, got aggressive with the girl.
Hands on the neck. Not basically like this. Hands on the neck.
Yes.
Choking. Okay.
Who was it choking?
Excuse me. Keep your hands to yourself. Hands on another person.
Here's what I want people to
Unacceptable.
tell. Optics matter. Optics, like what people see it as, what the general public see things as, and the aggressee, not the aggressor, the aggressee, right? What they see it as, that's what matters, right? Women, if you get just animated,
it's scary to a woman.
It's scary.
You're like big. You're
woman.
like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like what do you call bears? When bears come at you, that's how I see a man that is aggressive. I'm sorry to say, but that's what it looks like to a woman, I think.
Exactly. So it's typical for. I mean, it's scary for a typical woman, you know, and it's very, very important to understand that when you are dealing with. When you see people respond or people react to anything as physical violence, it's not physical violence when you already touched the person. It starts as physical violence when you start banging tables and you start throwing stuff. So that's Tahiri.
Yeah, she did that.
So after we watched the episode, we noticed that Tahiri threw two
apples
and angrily threw two apple or oranges.
Apples.
Potato.
Green
right?
apples.
At this gentleman, okay. So now, when you're dealing with an insecure man that we kind of already know for weeks, we've been talking about that this guy comes off as insecure.
Yeah.
All right. When you're dealing with that, you basically, you're basically have somebody that's not equipped enough to react properly or respond properly to that type of behavior. So, in other words, he's hurt.
But hurt.
He's gonna hurt you back.
And he actually mentioned it a few times. He said somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what? He said that in the confessional room.
Yep, he said that somebody's gonna get hurt. So now, if somebody is getting violent with you in a relationship, responding with violence is not key. It's not. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do as soon as you can, if God gives you grace, is to get out of that place.
Yep.
Get out of that situation, of the relationship, until somebody seeks help.
Yeah, but people will think about their investment, about what people will say, and they put their lives at risk because of a relationship.
So it's not the easiest thing to get out of a situation, because somebody asked, like, why do people stay in this kind of relationship? It's because we're social and emotional beings. Our emotional aspects, part of us, does not count in numbers, does not count in terms of how much you've hurt me. That's not how it counts. You have to be emotionally intelligent, significantly, and be strong to even be any remotely close to that. The way we count is the impact that people leave on us. So what kind of impact are we talking about? We're talking about sentiments as well. Sentiments, sentimental value. What are people going to say? That's a real valuable
That's a real thing
for all of us. No matter how we like to shape it, I don't care about what people say. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's why you're saying that. The very reason why you're saying it out in words is because you care.
It's an insecurity
about what I think about you. That's why you're telling me that you don't care about what people say.
It's a defense mechanism.
Yes, you're being defensive. That's exactly what you are. Okay, and that's a sign of insecurity.
It is.
That's actually one of the signs of insecurity. We're going to talk about the 14 signs. We're going to touch on all that. But let me see if this thing works. I just noticed for the first time this thing has a.
I look extra aggressive.
Yo, you look on. Yo, like for real, my. Oh, yo. No. Bugging out. No. Like you lucky I don't hurt you, yo.
Are you kidding me?
This house is on fire.
Just threw that apple in my face for no.
Put hands on. What the?
I'm going to the county.
I look crazy.
Every time I see that part where he tried to choke her, my body just is like, what the what? Like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, see, I'm not saying making excuses for Tyre, because everyone knows Tyre is aggressive.
Yep.
But violence is not the way to go.
I mean, you don't answer violence.
He should
with
have
violence.
removed himself from that relationship. In fact, he does not value himself for him to be in a relationship like that. So for people,
you can't.
And did you see his tweet yesterday?
Yeah, what's up?
About they will see who the aggressor is. Like, no,
right. He said that.
You're still making excuses, bro.
Yeah. He's making excuses.
You gotta go get some help.
So let me give it to him. Let me say, you're right. Okay, she was wrong too, but that's not what it's about.
Obviously, we know she is wrong.
That's not what this is about. That's not what it's about. It's bigger than right and wrong. The easiest thing for people to do is to point out right and wrong. Relationships are deeper than that. Okay, if you want to stay in a relationship, you have to be smarter than just calling out right and wrong.
I mean, would I?
Yeah, you have to go a little bit deeper than that. There's a court of law for right and wrong. There is there's more than enough churches around that will tell you what's right and wrong. Your Bible will tell you what's right and wrong. But if you still want to be in a relationship with that person, which is oftentimes the situation,
the case.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thanks, babe. Then you have to think a little deeper than that. You have to go a little bit deeper than, oh, you're just wrong, you're just right. Okay. So, and that's a big part of all of this, So a lot of things we're going to point out of the 14 signs of an insecure man. Most typical men will see it and say, what about her? You're right. She's also wrong. You're right.
Oh my God. Okay. Tit for tat never works.
You're right. She's also wrong. Okay. But the key here is that we want to learn what it takes. We want to learn what it takes to be in a healthy relationship, regardless of what the other person is doing. And then by doing the right things, a series of right things, patience are required, especially if you're already in crisis. By doing so, you can attract the type of energy that you want. Okay? It's not if, it's 100% works. Okay? The only thing that will make it not work is if you don't have enough patience. That's the only thing.
Or you put a time limit on patience. It has to be infinite patience.
Yeah, because again, you don't measure emotions is not measured in form of time, right? So you have to be extremely generous with your patients. You have to be extremely, and how do you do that when somebody's hurting you? Well, it goes back to you have to be self-sustained, self-sufficient. As a matter of fact, in reality, you're not really waiting for them. You're not waiting, okay? Because if you're waiting, you will get tired. You will get frustrated with that process. You know, so it's very, very important to understand these things as we break them down. Understand that this is not about right and wrong. Whatever you think is right, you are right. Whatever you think is wrong, you are right too. Because again, I can't spell out your belief system for you. I can point it out to you if your belief system is hurting you in your relationship.
Oh, true.
I can point that out because that happens a lot.
It does, because of the things we believe in.
Your ideologies that you're stuck on can make you hurt in relationships.
Yes.
Remember, in relationship, not you personally, right? So, you know, sometimes, like, even though you're right, you're still hurting, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, who the heck? And the person is still pissed off at you anyway. You're not winning.
Right. So with that being said, he's insecure. She's insecure. There's no question about that. Because why would she end up in a relationship with that kind of a man that's not ready to be in a relationship? Vado is not wrong. It's not about wrong. It's not a criminal. He can go to jail for touching a woman.
He's weak.
He's just a weak individual. He's not ready to be in a relationship. He shouldn't be in a relationship. And again, obviously,
what? What's that spider?
That thing is flying. Jesus.
It was coming down little by little.
You know.
That was weird.
So and of course, obviously, right? Her, you know. So, but let's spell out the society we live in. There's no tolerance for a man touching a woman, physically assaulting a woman. Okay,
it's not okay.
I'm not saying it's wrong or right or it should be equal. That's not what I'm arguing here. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a different topic entirely. That's for the legislators to determine how unfair it is. You know, talk to your local councillor and talk to your local councillor and your chairman of your local government area and the mayor of your city and the state on how unfair it is the justice system is to a man or a woman. Okay.
Okay.
Because sometimes these things can be confusing.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
Go ahead, babe.
So you have to understand that those are two different things. We're talking about this is a woman that you love, you still want to be in a relationship, but she's insecure, or you're insecure, or you find out that you guys butt head back and forth.
A lot, yeah.
That's signs of insecurity. Okay, on both people's part. It's not one-sided. It's never one-sided. Okay. Oh, but she's insecure. Okay. That even makes it more you because now you're pointing fingers. You really don't understand how relationships work if you say that. Okay? Because it takes two.
To tango.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes two. So how much of it do you need? It could be just that little bit of insecurity that you need to cause a catastrophe in your relationship based on how you measure it. I don't know what unit you're measuring it in. I don't understand. But it could be just that little or it could be that much. Everyone's tolerance level is different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, so just keep that at the back of your mind as we do these things. Okay. So with that being said, I think we should let's touch really quickly in about 1 minute on the other couple. So we have Phaedra. What's going on with Phaedra? Phaedra is basically not in a relationship with that guy.
Yeah.
What's going on with what you call it? Devon and Izui.
Devon and Izui. Izui think Devon is there for the clout.
For the clout?
And
no, what's going on based on your assessment?
What's going on? Well, I don't know. Devon is he has a temper.
Yeah, it's too quiet and
he has a temper. He's on the extreme. So he's very quiet. And then when he blows up like a madman. See, that's the balance of emotion that I'm talking about. You can't be
right. On the extreme. If whoever is the most quiet in a relationship is the most dangerous.
True. Because they keep things on the inside.
Okay. Now, I'll say that with respect to just the context of that sentence, because if you're talkative too, you're also you're the catalyst for the, so keep that at the back of your mind. It's not fault. Remember, it's not fault. I'm not distributing blame at all. I'm just letting you know a person who is quiet, who doesn't say a lot, that's a very dangerous person. So if you're a quiet person, think about it like this. As much as you think you're holy, you actually pose a very dangerous part of that relationship.
Right.
Because you have a tendency to build resentment.
Absolutely.
The most, okay? Because again, you're not saying everything how you feel. And it could be you're really trying not to offend the other person. It could be that. There's either side of it the extreme of either side of it can be very toxic. But,
I need water.
go get water.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. All right. So it could be either side of the equation, but a person who is the most quiet can be in a very dangerous spot with respect to the relationship. So you want to make sure that you identify who that person is in your relationship. There's always one person, one of the two, who is the most quiet, and then the other person is the talker. They talk a lot, right? They express their feeling. They're very quick they don't have a problem expressing themselves. And the extreme of that is when people get very upset and get defensive and they just say how they feel without any respect for how it may land on the other side. Because remember, the mind is a very fickle thing. You can say the wrong thing very quickly, and your intentions does not matter. Okay, you may have the best intentions, right? But you can say the wrong things very, very fast, very, very quickly if you're a talker. And the person who is very quiet, who is on the receiving end of that, even if they don't respond right there and there, they are building resentments. Okay. And that can be a very dangerous place to be in. So just keep that in mind. So that's Devon is quiet, is dangerous, firecracker is dangerous. He needs to express himself a little bit more because the last time he tried to express himself, it was a blowout. Basically, he got physical.
He went nuts.
With both his girl and somebody else. So that's the issue with that. Who else is there? Corrupt needs to go sober all the way.
All the time.
Everything he needs to do to go sober. Everything in his power to go sober. He needs to do that. Okay? Because if he doesn't,
he's a crazy person when
then he starts expressing himself.
Right.
And like I said,
well, he's well behaved when he's sober.
Right. So, and we're all like that. We put on filter. I got no filter, no filters. You're a liar. We all have filters, and filters can be a good thing. It can be a terrible thing. Again, the extreme of both ends is what's really bad. Okay. And also it depends on the person you're with, right? So the dynamics can change from couples to couples, right?
That's right.
All right. So who else?
Willie and Shanda.
Okay. So issues in that situation is they love each other. You have any take on that?
Well, Willie seemed to have issues. I mean, he's a cheater. He's cheated 12 times.
Is he still cheating?
In his marriage.
Okay.
Is that boot camp because he wants to be a better
Is that one of those
person?
things, always a cheater, always a cheater?
Well, some people say that, but I'm not of that narrative. I feel like anyone can change as long as they want to.
Some people don't agree that people can change, but do you agree that people grow? People do grow up.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some things that you did when you're 21. Once you're 28, like if you go hanging out at the club when you're 38, you start feeling funny. Depends on what kind of club it is. Some people
call you uncle, auntie, and you're like, oh shit.
Depending on what kind of club it is, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Always a cheater, always. But people do outgrow certain behaviors, right? And depending on how you're reacting with them, because again, you're a catalyst for their behavior. Depending on the dynamics of that, people do grow up faster than you would think. Right. And that could be equal to the kind of relationship you want with them or commitment level that you want with them. So don't just how do I say this? Don't just write yourself off or your relationship off because somebody used to be a cheater.
Yeah, but I think Willie might be struggling with something from, it could be like baggages from his childhood. I feel like he's seriously lacking something.
Why do you feel that way, babe?
Because he keep bouncing from woman to woman, even though he's married. It's not even one
is it still
woman.
bouncing?
I mean, till they came to boot camp. They're in boot camp for a reason.
Oh, okay.
You know, but the issue is he's consistently cheating. And the wife didn't know how many people he cheated with until mentioned it. It's 12 people that he has cheated with.
Well, there are two sides to that. First of all, we don't know if that's really 12. It could be 24.
He said that himself. Yeah, it could be lying. But right. I feel like he's coming from a lack of something, some struggle within him. And of course, Shanda is dealing with forgiveness. Come on. Someone keeps, treating you like that all the time, you'll find it hard to forgive them. But she should also not be in a relationship where she can't forgive because, unforgiveness make you a bitter person.
Yeah. Here's what I think. The number of people he's cheated with matters to her, and they should be addressed.
She's a woman.
In the grand scheme of things beyond her, it doesn't matter. Okay? But it matters to her, which is why I kind of agree with what's his name, Steve Harvey.
Oh,
that
what did he say?
If a guy is asking you, especially ladies, that what's your body count, that's always 3. Okay, because
if you say more than 3, oh my God, he might
because
not marry
most
you.
men are insecure.
Exactly,
and then you got a problem in your hands. Okay. I don't think it's a relevant number in the grand scheme of things. If a person is hurting, like, what's her name, Shanda?
Yes.
If a person is hurting, it matters. Because that's her feelings. It's not even about the numbers. It's her feelings. That, of course, that will make her feel terrible, make her feel less. What is it that you're looking for? I didn't even know that. 12. So saying it out like that is not the wisest thing. I know some people say
no. He said that. He said that when he finished saying it, was like, I don't think I should have said that.
Yeah, it's not the wisest.
No,
thing.
it's
because
not.
Again, for those people that say just come out with all the truth, that's the best thing. I disagree. I 100% disagree because again, you're looking at it with just plain logic, and it doesn't work like that.
No,
These
it
are
doesn't.
people's feelings. That's why forgiveness is hard. These are people's feelings being affected. These are people's security, self-esteem being affected. And these are things that they will question for the rest of their lives. So no, it's not like just because you tell the truth doesn't mean you're wise. Okay, it doesn't mean everything is going to go right.
You better be ready to lose something.
And I'm not saying tell lies. I'm not saying tell lies. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there are certain truths in life that are not relevant to the situation at hand.
I agree.
Okay. So you should tell just half the truth. No, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Okay. The point is this: we all don't know the truth already by default. I don't know the first 23 years of
my life, and it's not important for you to know.
And that's a fact. That I don't know. She could tell me all the stories she wants, which she does, but I still won't know the truth, the 100% truth. So it's not wise to get stuck on your idea of truth because it's just your idea of truth.
Right.
It's better for you to understand, listening to the person you're in a relationship with, and then operate from that standpoint, because you should be going there to give to them. And when you now go give her the facts, right? The fact of the matter that you slept with 12 people, which could have been 36 or 3 or 11 or 10, because I don't know who is counting, but oh well.
He counted.
It's counted, right? It could have been any of those numbers, right? The effect on her heart is the same thing. She's still hurt. So if she's asking how many people, the best thing you can do is maybe a number that will, because you really shouldn't be knowing, because if you know, that's even a different sickness on its own. But you really should just be like, I don't know, maybe 3 or so, I don't know. You don't know? Listen, I was just in a very bad place. Change the topic, and I'm here to make things better.
Right.
Change the topic. The fact of the matter does not matter. How the impact on that person's heart right now is all that matters. Okay, and it's a very unwise thing that I see people do, or even advise. Just come out and tell the truth. Dude, if you know the truth, why are you asking me? Since you already know the truth.
You want to hear me say it.
So it's not the truth that you want to know. You just want to feel better about the situation, right? So that's the problem that I see there with Shonda
And Willie.
and Willie. Clearly, he hasn't learned anything with respect to right now. He's just sucking up, he's crying, he's like all this stuff. That doesn't help. That's extreme, and she can't trust him right now. Okay, the crying comes off as manipulative at some point.
It is.
Okay,
Especially when a man is crying.
see, no one is mentioning that. No one's talking about that.
It is manipulative.
Yeah, that's gonna come off if you do too much of that crying stuff. Whether you're gonna look like a weak man. There's nothing wrong with the man crying, but
Yeah, but
there's
women
certain
are just-
circumstances that everything is wrong with it.
Women are not attracted. I mean, I would say maybe most women are not attracted to men that cry. It's just not an attractive thing.
In certain scenarios, depends on what is going on. If his mother died,
That's different.
that's different.
But
exactly.
you're just crying every time.
No, so you don't want to go there and
no.
say, "I don't want to cry in front of my wife," even though your
it's
mother
okay
just
to
died.
be vulnerable.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, but if there's a situation with the relationship and you're very quick to go towards crying, she can't trust you emotionally.
She'll be disgusted.
So in the moment, she may do this and right.
So every day, me, I want to be putting your what?
In the
Please.
moment, she may do that.
I'm not your mama. I beg.
In the moment, she may do that. In the long run of things, she still can't trust you emotionally. And that's always going to be a problem, especially coming from a typical man to a typical woman. I'm not talking about you, the masculine woman. I'm not talking about you, okay? We're going to talk all about that in the 14 signs.
We're talking about defense.
All right, so that's the Marriage Boot Camp review for the week. We're going to continue to watch the show.
Now, what is your advice for Vado? We can just leave that topic like that.
Vado needs to learn how to be a man, period. It's not even necessarily the physical violence thing, because physical violence is wrapped up into all of that. Like a man does not feel the need to be validated by a woman, much less catching feelings because she said you're broke. So,
and she also,
even if you're really broke,
also pointed that he doesn't pay no bills. Okay?
Right. Oh, this is important to point this out. A woman will do everything that Tahiri was doing, which I agree was wrong. It's just not relevant. Wrongs are not relevant. Okay. I'm gonna pick at the person I would have preferred to be the leader in that scenario, and that's Vado. And that's one of the things that she had been complaining about. That it's a boy. You know, I prefer that a man is a leader when there's a problem like that, especially when there's crisis, right? So, and he refused to step up to that plate all the while, you know, for the last 4-5 episodes, you know. What's up, Ola? How far, bro?
Hello.
All right. So and he refused to step up to all of that, you know, to step up to that plate. And yeah, you may disagree with him, but a woman should too. Okay, you're right. But I'm just saying right now, woman didn't.
I mean, she chose the boy, so she's equally
a
responsible.
I'm talking about the person that most likely people will try to defend. You know, people have a tendency to defend the underdog, and that's Vado in this situation. The default is that they defend the woman, of course, because of the physical violence aspect of it. But I agree, he needs to seek help. But beyond that
ASAP.
Beyond that now, a woman, I need to say this to the men that are listening to this, a woman will always test you and they will hit below the belt. That's why a man that knows a woman does not argue with a woman. They will always hit below the belt. They are better at it than you. Okay. I know you know how to be petty too. I get it. Okay.
No. This generation definitely has a lot of petty men.
But she is probably going to be better at that than you. And the society is probably more in her favor with respect to that. And I would definitely say you want to be careful with that. You know, you want to be careful with competing with a woman in terms of being the feminine energy in a relationship, in terms of being the woman in the relationship. And I don't mean that with any disrespect. I'm just saying, as a king, you need to do everything in your power to show up as a king always. If a king, I watched another show today with Olaya, Maya Olaya.
Oh.
And she used an extreme example. Not all the way related, but related. She said, if somebody rejected you, it hurts. But you
No
really should look at it as, use an extreme example. I know it's kind of extreme, but if a madman rejected you, would you be so butthurt about it?
No, because it's a madman.
It's a madman.
Hello.
So if somebody rejects you and you're in a relationship with that person, that's not a madman. I get it. But you clearly don't understand what's going on with that person because you didn't reject yourself. You don't, at least you don't feel like anything is wrong with you to the point of they want to reject you. But just take it as, I don't know what's going on with them. But don't be so quick to go towards the direction of feeling less than the value that you see yourself as. Okay? It becomes, rejection breeds obsession.
Yes, it does.
What happened?
Yes, it does.
Why am I almost coughing too?
Bella?
Yeah.
Because you're talking a lot.
Where's that coming from? No, it's weird. We never do that. We never do that.
Okay, I
Devil's
always
a lie.
have. Wait.
The devil's a
See,
lie.
talk about extremes. I don't think negative like that. It's okay.
The devil is a liar.
Stop.
All right. So, what am I saying here? Yeah.
If someone rejects you,
If someone rejects you, don't think of them as a madman. That's not what I'm saying. I use that as an extreme so you can get the point that I'm trying to make. Clearly, you don't understand something about what's going on with them, or maybe you understand. But the key thing is that most human beings will go all the way to the direction of they feel less because somebody rejected them, because rejection breeds obsession. We're all humans. All of us, we all do that.
so it's like a knee-jerk reaction. So
Right.
you have
I'm
to.
I'm beyond knee-jerk, because sometimes people hold on to, like especially women. I don't think especially. I think a lot of men actually. When somebody rejects you, it becomes insecurity in the next relationship.
It's a human feeling.
Yes, we all do it.
We have to just keep building ourselves and not make it personal. But when you're emotionally invested in someone, that would feel bad.
It feels bad, but it's okay to feel bad. What is not okay is if you start feeling less than yourself, your self-esteem start dropping, your self-worth.
You have to catch yourself.
All the way to even like people take it to work. They take that energy to work. They take it to the next relationship in case it becomes.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So, but these are the extreme examples of what all these things are about. And it's not about good people or bad people. Good people go through this stuff. Bad people go through this stuff. It's really about skill set.
It is.
It's about intelligence, not just random intelligence, emotional intelligence. Like I know people with 4 or 5 degrees, masters that struggle with this stuff.
It's not about that.
Yeah,
it's not about that.
So yeah, so that's that. So Shonda, forgiveness, but if that guy is behaving a certain way in that moment when he's behaving, she needs to gain enough strength to respect herself and bow out.
Yes, and which is very hard for people to do because again, we have a child together. What would people say? Oh my God, I've been married for years. Now my marriage is over. But you're right. You have to respect yourself and bow out. If you don't, then expect that person to keep treating you like a doormat.
People respond to consequences, pain, and pleasure. Okay, that's what we respond to when it comes to our behavior, right? So it's one of those things when people say, "Why go to?" I forgot how to say it, but the point is, if I'm going to get it for free, why should I work so hard? If you're going to be here, right? If you're going to be here every day, if I have bad habits and stuff like that, why should I change my bad habits?
That's because
you're going to be here anyway.
Yeah.
So if you're being treated with disrespect in your relationship, it's because that person, maybe not deliberately, maybe not intentional, that person has not attached any pain to their behavior, to their present behavior.
There's no consequences.
So, and I'm keeping it simple so that you can understand that, yes, I'm saying potentially you may have to leave that relationship or that marriage, but you don't just go jump into something else. That right there may be what that person needs to see the reality. Like, no, let me not take this person for granted. To change. And then you can now deliberately, intentionally, right, with some intelligence, emotional intelligence, look at this person if this is what you want to be in as you move on into the future. But now we can scale things and look at where we at. Like, okay, do I want to stay in this relationship or not? And it's hard. It's easier said than done. Because we're social and emotional beings, and we have fear, and we don't know what's on the other side. But I'm just telling you, I'm just letting you know that people don't change their behavior typically unless there's a kind of pain attached to it.
Right.
So, and the direction they move is because of pleasure. And the difference between pain and pleasure is not equal for everyone. Sometimes people need that frame of reference. So if they don't experience pain, they won't necessarily know what pleasure is like with respect to you. They may not attribute pleasure to the idea of being with you until they experience pain. You don't know bad until you've seen good. You don't know good until you've seen bad. You don't know what white is until you've seen black. I know you grew up knowing white and black, but you learned it at some point. Okay? And these are people's behavior. It doesn't matter how many prayers you pray. Okay? This is just how people behave. Okay? They change their behavior based on consequences with respect to pain, pleasure. If the idea of being with you spells out pleasure for them, they will be committed without them necessarily following the rules of commitment. They just want to be committed to you. Okay? And now if they enjoy some kind of pleasure, or it looks like pleasure in their eyes, in the eyes of the beholder, it looks like pleasure on the outside, they will act basically accordingly. All right? So there you go. All right, so let's go to review the next show. If you want to see the 14 signs of insecure men, hang around. Okay, we've already been talking about it, but we're going to spell them all out just so you can know. All right, so I actually should lean in a little bit and work on that. So now let's talk about love and marriage. Let's talk about love and marriage. So I'm going to play this video, and then we're going to talk about what we've seen there. We're going to talk about the other couples as well. There's a show on OWN that we also watch. This is the second season, actually, second official season. But they did like a pilot or something like that. Yeah. All right. So it's called Love and Marriage. Don't worry if you haven't watched it. We'll talk about things that you can relate to and the behaviors. I'm going to play a video. You may not see it if you're on Instagram. You can see it anyway. Actually, you have to watch the recording later to see it, because it just told me that it was too long for the streaming software. Okay. But let's go ahead and play this video, and just listen. If you're on Instagram, just listen to the conversation, and then we'll talk about it. I guarantee you everything you're learning here is new. They don't teach them in churches. They don't teach them in most marriage boot camps or marriage seminars. You're damn sure you're not going to get this from a 2-hour session, counseling session, okay? But not especially if you're already going through crisis, okay? Which is why a lot of people waste a lot of money doing that, and they still end up in a bad situation. Yeah. All right. So let's play this video.
Okay, moms and wives, our day-to-day schedule fill up. Me from all the different activities with the kids, helping them with their schoolwork, and let's not forget to make sure the house is clean, dinner is served at a certain time, and taking care of the man of the house. Okay, after taking care of everybody around us, we tend to forget about the most important person. Yes, that's right, you. I remember in 2015 looking in the mirror and asking myself, who is this girl looking back at me? Okay, I have to get ready to go. I don't have much time. Tonight is a very big night for me. It's been a long journey coming. I am extremely proud of me. I mean, it feels really good to say. All
right, so let's pause it there real quickly. What's happening is that there's this couple, Marcel and what's her name? Letitia?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Tisha. This is called Letitia, right? Letitia. So, and these guys are basically real estate developers in Huntsville, Alabama, and they showcase their life. It was supposed to be about real estate and marriage, but as usual,
they ended up being about
the secrets. There are people now invested. The whole world is invested in their story now. So it's now about their marriage and the infidelities and their secrets and stuff like that. And there were three couples. There's Melody and Mattel. Is that it?
Yeah, Mattel.
Okay. Melody and Mattel. There's also Maurice and
Kemi.
And
Kimi.
I call her Kemi. But
whatever. It's Kimi. Not Kemi.
Yeah. But there's also this couple that you were just hearing. The lady is basically, she's preparing for. Tommy, see what's up, bro. The lady is preparing for a speech.
Yes.
So she was a housewife at some point. It was a big struggle for her to convince her husband that she wanted to work. Okay. Now, if Marshall is listening to me right now, because he was going back and forth with me on Instagram and people in general, he was answering,
he was responding,
and he's defensive. That's one of the signs of insecure men, by the way. So we're going to talk about 14 signs of insecure men in a second here. And defensiveness is what will make somebody who enjoys millions upon millions of views feel the need to go be responding to people on social media. That's defensiveness. That's insecurity. That's just what that is. Okay. And it's not about right and wrong. He could be right and still be insecure. That's two truths that can exist together.
It's a weakness. Hey,
all right.
Look at it that way.
So she's preparing for a speech. So she managed to it's like tooth and nail to convince. Finally, she started to work as a realtor. She's doing speech, podcast, and stuff like that. So she's having a speech. She's preparing a speech, and she decided to read it to this dude.
I think he had something to do with empowerment for women.
So she's telling her story. So now, dude decided that I think that is the boom. Yes. Now she decided to share with her husband her speech that she's about to have. And basically in that speech, she mentioned how she was feeling not adequate, how she was a mother. She was feeling like she was losing herself. And all she needed, she already dressed up. All she needed was encouragement. That's all a woman needs, just to be encouraged in that moment in time. Just to be the cheerleader for a minute.
Yeah, be my fan for a minute.
But of course, insecure men don't ever catch that. What they catch is an offense. So when you catch an offense or you feel like you've been attacked, what do? You defend, right? And that's exactly what he did in that scene. And you're about to hear his response. So what you just heard was basically her reading out what the speech was going to be about. And then you'll see her response in a second. I'm going to play it right now.
Response.
Yeah, I always confuse him and her.
It's
Sorry.
okay. That's why you got me.
It's Usho
You see yourself moving in that direction.
The show is a beautiful place.
You got the kids and everything, right?
You said what?
You know, I didn't cook dinner, so that's on you. You take
She said, what? Is this okay?
I was trying to, but then I started practicing for the speech.
Hey, you know what's funny? You know what's really funny about this? You can take this however you want to take it, but 2015, you say I'm losing me and I got to focus on me. All right? Listen, there's never a time where I'm like, I got to focus on me.
So in her speech, she said, I got to focus on me. And the dude caught that in the speech that he was supposed to be reading for, just to say, oh, yeah, this looks good. I'm not saying you should lie to your wife, but as far as dissecting the truth, her truth that's inside of that speech, it takes a grown man. It's a grown man business to know, to not dissect her truth. Know that her truth is different from his truth.
I think that's how she sees it.
Right?
Come on.
Right? All of our perceptions are different from people to people. It takes grown folks. Only grown folks understand that. Everybody else, which is majority of the population that you know out here, will catch an offense. Okay? And it's just a terrible place for a man to be, because what happens is that you're building this monster. She's also happened to be the one that doesn't talk or express her feelings. Yes. And when she does, it's sugar-coated with a bunch of nonsense. She's always trying to make him feel better. And he doesn't see that, because he sees that it's just as always how to.
Yeah, it's ego.
Right?
It's huge.
He's the man of the house, but that's not how to be the leader. It's not about being quote unquote
looking for accolades all the time.
It's about being a leader, and a leader is not always the loudest. We got 20 seconds on Instagram. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're watching me actively on Instagram right now, go to lolaandola.com/live. You got 12 seconds. Go to lolaandola.com/live and join us on YouTube, and then we'll continue the conversation.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
If you can't,
thank
sorry.
you.
Peace. All right.
Oh,
so
wow, we ended like that.
yeah, just like that. I said not to make a drama of it earlier.
Okay.
So anyway, so let's continue the conversation.
Right.
011. Let's post that. All right. What's going on, YouTube, Facebook?
Yes.
This is gonna be sweet. All right. So now is you will hear. So he's starting to respond right now, basically to say everything he felt was wrong. Okay, and we should just continue that. Okay.
As a stay-at-home wife, you know what that means? That means every single dime that comes in my check goes to my family. Everything. Right?
Right.
That's not me doing me. That's me doing what needs to.
All right, so let's talk about this. I guess we're gonna have to make it fun like this. So basically, when there's a crisis, it's not often when the person already checked out and they're filing for divorce.
Right.
It starts way long before that, and it starts with conversations like this. When a woman says, "I felt like I was losing myself." Yes, she was a housewife. I felt like you had all the time to yourself. You were just living your life. Okay. Please feel free to interrupt me if you have any input.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But this is for the fellas, for the most part, because we're talking about insecure men. You will see all the signs in a second. We're going to talk about all the signs, right? And so she's expressing how she felt. Feelings. These are feelings. Feelings are not the same thing as reality. Okay, it's either exaggerated or underrated.
Right.
Is that an English word?
Exaggerated. What do you mean really? Don't use that word ever again.
All right, sorry. When people express their feelings, doesn't matter if you're a man or woman or anywhere you come from in the world, if you're expressing your feeling, it's not accurate. It's usually not accurate. It's that person's truth. Okay. That's why, for years, people have been arguing with me that truth changes, fact changes, truth don't change. That's not true. What changes is people's truth based on individuality, the culture they come from, the religion they're operating from, the moral compass they're operating from. All of those things are the things that shapes truth for people, So with that being said, this guy is now defending basically that he went out there, but he wasn't having a good time. Now, a king, and some people don't like this. They think I'm manipulating when I say king. Whatever.
Maybe they don't feel like
you're in the wrong audience. Go to another video, right?
They don't want to hear that. What do you mean a king?
A king does not seek validation from your wife. Yes, it's looking in that conversation like it's the one with the upper hand, right? Because he's correcting his wife. The truth is that he's seeking validation. If you were truly the man of the house, emotionally, we get it. Financially, you got that part figured out.
Yeah.
But what about emotionally? If you're so sure that you were solid emotionally, the only thing you should be doing is proving that at that point in time by listening to her. Yes, your idea of what happened may be different, but you need to now patiently listen to her and see where she's coming from. Where could she be coming from? Why did she feel that way? At the very minimum, you guys, what you remember are different from people to people. But somehow she sees something different. The last thing you want to do is argue with her at that point in time. Okay? And you may be right. She may be completely wrong.
I mean, what is getting wrong over there is the fact that he feels attacked. Because she's speaking her truth, don't mean it has anything to do with you. She said she was lost.
She was
in
lost.
2015.
So the question now, let me act like Marcel. Why were you lost? I was paying the bills.
Because
You were
it's
living
not
the
about
life.
the bills. It's not about the bills. It's not about the money. It's not about. It's about how she felt in that moment. Like
Babe,
she
you're saying
wasn't.
that because you didn't have to worry about the bills. You're saying that because you didn't. If you have to worry about the bills, maybe it will be about the money suddenly. Maybe you're just spoiled. All right. So now, again, he could be right, she could be wrong. But the problem is that they've got a problem
Well, he has
from
a
an
problem
emotional
with
standpoint.
listening to his wife.
Yeah.
And that's been consistent from the first season.
From the beginning.
Yes, he comes off as a controlling human being.
From
He
when they
wants
wanted
things
to,
a certain way.
from when she wanted to start working, she felt like she was home a lot. She couldn't find.
She needed a
The
break.
person can't find themselves. It's never about you. If somebody feels lost, yes, in a relationship with you, and I know you took it as an attack, you were supposed to be the man to make her feel good, but somehow you couldn't. You know why? Because your happiness is not really her happiness is not really in your hands.
No, it's not.
You know, she needs to make herself happy. But now, if you're blocking her from exploring, because even going to work may not be what she really needs, but how is she gonna know
If she doesn't go.
doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Because remember, you don't know pain if you don't know what pleasure is. You don't know pleasure if you don't know what pain is. It's the frame of reference that allow us to identify these things, right? A blind man will see anything, seen, ironic, right? See anything and thinks it's beautiful because they don't know what they're saying. They don't have the frame of reference that you, with open eyes, see. Or their ears are a lot sharper than yours because that sense is heightened because of they use it a lot more than you, right? So these are the struggles that people are going through out there, and it's quite confusing. I get it, it's confusing. But what? So I can't just correct my wife? No, if you haven't listened to her. Wait, let me take that back. If she hasn't felt heard.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem right there.
No, you can't.
She can express
I mean,
herself.
you can correct that, but it will create a negative effect.
Right.
Okay? It will create the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. What Marcel wants, let's be fair to Marcel. I'm sure that's what he wanted. That's why I was answering all those comments on Instagram. Let's be fair to Marcel. What you really want is a wife who is happy. Why don't we just work on that? Happiness is an emotion.
I think he feel like he has failed in that, like, why are you not happy? I tried my best to make you happy, but it's not about him.
It's not about you.
That moment.
What she's lacking, from what I can see, is space so that she can explore. If you give her that, remember, you're trying to give her everything that will make her happy. How about give her that? Oh, yeah, that's going to make you have to babysit sometimes and maybe cook sometimes, right? I get it. But again, you go into a relationship.
You don't have to
give.
cook. You can order.
Here's what I'll tell you.
Make your life easy.
It's temporary. Whatever it is right now that's going on is temporary. But what happens is that insecure men don't see these things as temporary.
They feel threatened.
They feel threatened. They feel like, oh my God, she's
about to change my whole life.
She wants a job. That's not what we planned 10 years ago. Listen, a woman can change her mind just like you can change your mind.
Oh, yeah.
People change their mind all the time. As humans, we change our minds. And you should have room for that if you want to have a relationship.
Yeah, we grow, we evolve. Come on.
You know, if she says, I think I want to go find a job, that's how she feels. The last thing you want to do is take that freedom to feel that way in that moment away from her. It's all about the feelings. It's not about the money that you've been paying and the bills you've been paying. You went out there, yes, you were, but you forgot that you also love the idea that you're out there. Okay, maybe you didn't, but you also have the freedom to express yourself. Like, I don't like this job. I don't like being in real estate anymore. You also have that freedom. You wouldn't need to come to her to ask for permission. If suddenly you don't want to be in real estate anymore.
You'll be like, as long as the bills are getting paid, I don't have to discuss that with you. That's right.
Not the only plus. The second plus to that is that you have a woman who would not question you if you decide to do that. That's the dynamics that they have. Anyway, you know, she doesn't question if he does anything, he decides business. As a matter of fact, she goes to him to seek counsel when it comes to business, which is, again, another reason why she's sharing this speech with you. But there's a problem. She's expressed herself, her truth, but you took an offense. You know, so let's continue. This is deep. What I'll do is At some point, I may have to fly through the list.
Okay, moms and wives, our day-to-day schedule fill up. I mean, from all of the different activities with the kids, helping them with their schoolwork, and let's not forget to make sure the house is clean, dinner is served at a certain time, and taking care of the man of the house. Okay, after taking care of everybody around us, we tend to forget about the most important person. Yes, that's right, you. I remember in 2015 looking in the mirror and asking myself, who is this girl looking back at me? Okay, I have to get ready to go. I don't have much time. Tonight is a very big night for me. It's been a long journey coming. I am extremely proud of me. I mean, it feels really good to say, I want to do something when you see yourself moving in that direction. You got the kids and everything, right?
You said what?
You know, I didn't cook dinner, so that's on you. You take
Take
care of it.
what is this? Okay.
I was trying to, but then I started practicing for the speech.
Hey, you know what's funny? You know what's really funny about this? You can take this however you want to take it, but 2015, you say I'm losing me and I gotta focus on me, right? Listen, there's never a time where I'm like, I gotta focus on me. When I'm a stay-at-home wife, you know what that means? That means every single dime that comes in my check goes to my family. Everything, right?
Right.
All right, so that's a lot right there already. I think we should dissect that. He said there's never a time that I've had to focus on me. How would you receive that as a woman?
But I think part of him paying the bills makes him feel good as a man.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's you thinking now, babe. Come on. That's not fair.
What do you mean that's not fair?
That's you thinking. You don't know that for a fact. Maybe he's doing it just because, he maybe he feels that's just obligation. That's what a man does. I mean, women would be quick to tell you that too.
Then he'll be open to his wife getting a job and splitting the bills with him. Okay?
Oh.
He enjoys that part. That part makes he boasts his ego. He feels proud to be able to provide for his family. So you cannot use that as a manipulation tool. You just can't. Because if you don't want to do that, you also have the right to express that, babe, maybe we should do 80-20 or 70-30. But he never said
Which is
that.
still not fair. Why don't we just do 50-50?
Oh, you could say 50-50 and she can decide maybe she want to be with this kind of guy or not. You know?
Yeah.
But you enjoy that. You enjoy that, having a woman to take care of, like, oh, I take care of my family. There's pride in that for a man.
Yeah.
At least for men that I know that do that. I don't know about every man. Because this new
For
modern age.
so the correct word
men
for
are
people
kinda
that are
different.
hair hustlers, like Chloe says, the correct terminology is typical men.
Typical
You
man.
know, because there are people that will be very quick to pick that up and say, not all men though.
That's true. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. There are men in this generation that,
Yeah, not
they want
all
the
men.
50-50.
Wendy Williams' husband was, no, not really. What's her name? The other one. The one that does Love and Hip Hop. Mona Scott.
Oh, he's a house husband.
The husband is a house husband.
That's their dynamic. That's what they agreed to.
Right, right. But beyond that,
okay
he doesn't mind that. A typical man minds that. A typical man will not just want to settle to be at home and the wife is just bringing in money. No matter how little that money is, the woman could be making a lot of money. He will still want to at least know that he goes to work. But again, that's not just a man. Like we're finding out, a lot of women are starting to find out that, I don't like the idea of just being home. They
want to balance.
I want to step out and do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they could be saying that it could mean that physically, but it could also just be emotional issues. Sometimes when you're going through emotional issues, you're looking for different type of things to blame for it. Is it because I'm home? Is it because I married the wrong person? Is it because this guy is not really my
if
best
something
friend?
that you've agreed to, like, no, this is what we're gonna be doing, and then you're changing your mind.
Right. If you have a strong personality like that, it's an extremely difficult thing to go to him and say, I want to go to work. Now she's finally working. She has a speech.
Yeah.
And
she has a
podcast. But the issues are not solved.
It's not. You can still see it in her.
Right? So the underlying issues are still there. Right? So she starts to work, but she's now feel the need. She's wanted to pass something by her husband, but he's not equipped to be able to handle that yet. And I get it. He's going to be like, he's probably will say, you know what? I'm just helping my wife. The real question is, are you helping your wife? Or you're doing what you think will help your wife?
He's definitely doing what he thinks.
Because
he ain't listening.
So, and then once, and she's not there yet where she will start using, because he's a respectable man, He works, takes care of his family. He does that. But he feels like they're taking that away from him. That's insecurity. He feels like somebody is taking that accolade away from him. Right? Just because your woman said
she was lost in 2015.
I was lost in 2015, blah, blah, blah. So let's continue. Let's continue.
Right. That's not me doing me. That's me doing what needs to be done for the family. And so when we make these things like, I lost myself, baby, we lose ourselves. You know why? Because we lost half of ourselves to be together. That's what marriage is about. There's about two people.
So the idea that we lose ourselves.
We lose half of ourselves
we lose half of ourselves to be in a marriage. And he said that so convincingly. Like I almost bought into it.
He believed in that. He believes in that.
That sounded like,
nah, that's not true. We're supposed to be we're supposed to be self-sustainable, and then we come together and we build something by ourselves. Not lose half of ourselves to be together with somebody. No.
It's no wonder why their marriage is struggling. Now, it's been called out on past episodes on infidelity. I'm sure if I was to put money on it, I could be wrong. They are hiding that, and she's doing a terrible job hiding that that's an issue in their marriage.
She's been defensive about that.
Yeah. So that's something that we should also pay attention to. So, and the truth is that as human beings, we are driven by energy, right? So we have incredible radar for bullshit. We know when people are bullshitting us. We just know. How? I don't know. We just know. We just tell. Especially a woman can tell. Okay. So, and I found that out the hard way, And hey, it may sound like maybe I'm being on the side of the woman here, but oh well. More importantly, I think everyone needs to learn how emotion works, both man and woman. Okay. If there's a gridlock like this situation, a man needs to be the leader. Being a leader doesn't mean you're the person that's talking the most.
Why are you being tough on the man? Why are you guys always saying the man has to be a leader? I mean, some people are totally confused by that.
Yeah. Usually that means you have to learn something new. Usually that means you should listen attentively and take that time to learn something new. Let's continue.
Becoming one. But you have to give up part of who you are. And if your goal is to get that back, you're going to get it back outside of marriage.
That's a threat.
All right. So he just managed to threaten his wife. He didn't use the D word, but he did. He might as well.
He said, you have to leave the marriage. OMG.
He might as well just use the D word.
Wow. I missed that when we were watching it. I just heard it.
Yeah, that's a threat. That's a threat. Why is it a threat? Because potentially she could receive it as a threat. So that makes it a threat. If one person, all you need is one person to receive that as a threat, you don't have to agree it's a threat before it becomes an active threat in that marriage and that relationship. So that's sad that he is like, again, the people that are talkers, I said that earlier in this edition of Marriage Issues, people that are talker have to be extremely careful. It's a good thing to be able to express yourself. It can become a terrible thing. It can become a terrible thing if you don't realize that there's a place you can get to that's going to be toxic. That's why a talker should really put some effort into listening, like active listening, and practice and read books on that. Don't assume you know what that is. Don't assume you can handle it listening, because a woman, especially insecure woman, will say things to you that makes you want to defend yourself. They will. That makes you want to defend what you're saying. They will say things to you that makes you want to defend what you're saying. And it's very important that you are emotionally strong to actively continue to listen while she expresses herself. And there's no need to feel like you have to respond right away. What's your take, baby? I want to hear a little bit from you before we continue.
I don't know. From people that talk a lot, I feel like some of them don't, like you said, they don't take time to listen. And when you don't take time to listen, there are chances that you don't take time to think. And you just start shooting nonsense out of your mouth. It's especially when it comes to your marriage, it's hurtful for you to say certain things to your spouse, be it a man, be it a woman. You want to take your time before you respond. And every time your spouse tells you that they have a problem with something, it doesn't mean that you are the problem. They're just expressing to you.
Absolutely.
For the most part, they actually want you to help them feel better about themselves. That's not that's not when you now start to attack them and say, oh, so it's my fault that you are not feeling blah, blah, blah. So you're right. We have to just make sure we listen actively, because people don't even understand what listening is. Because by the time you finish, they're already there with their response. And they didn't hear a thing that you said. And I think that's what some women struggle with, being heard.
Right. And you will be tested. So, for example, he just got tested. As a man, you will be tested by all the women in your life, 100% of the time. It's not deliberate. They don't need to test you. They're not looking for you to fail. It's just the way it is.
It's just being nice. Okay.
And he just got tested because everything in that speech, for a weak man, and a weak doesn't mean it's a crime. We all start weak, right? It just means you have to pay attention to these things, right?
We all have weaknesses.
Yeah. He will take an offense. Back in 2015, I look at myself in the mirror and then I realized that I had lost myself. Dude, where was I? I'm your husband at that time. How could you lose yourself? You were paying no bills. Dude, it was not about you.
Having a ball. What do you mean you lost yourself?
It was not about you.
It's not about you, man.
It was not about you. That's hard truth. So, like, you will find, if you are just patient enough to not say anything about this, you find that over time she will start appreciating the past. Again, we look into the past with rose gold color lens. I don't know if I said that right, but if you allow people, they look into the past with admiration, nostalgic feelings, things like that. You if people are not in your space and breathing down your nose and trying to force you to think, you look into the past, you reminisce about the best things about the past. If you're in a very bad place right now, or you're feeling emotionally choked up right now, you look into the past with the bad lens. So you see, like, it was just a mistake, it was a terrible mistake. That's how you see things. And that's why patience is very important. If you want patience, if you're having struggle with patience, you need prayer. Okay, you need prayer with that. Okay, let's continue here.
You didn't have to make a lot of adjustments. When we first got together, it was just you and I. Single.
What are you talking about making a lot of adjustments?
When you and I got married and we started having kids, I'm like, oh snap! All of my dreams was just about me, but now it's like I have a family, and it's like, okay, Tisha, put Tisha here. Focus on your family. Focus on the kids. Then we decided for me to be a stay-at-home mom. So after that, that's when I started looking in the mirror. I was like, I got to figure me out again. I got to get to know who I am again, the new me.
When I want to be a better me, you know what that means? I want to be a better me because I want to be a better me for you.
All right, that's neediness. That's one of the signs. When I want to be a better me, I want to be a better me for you. There's nothing wrong with what he said if it was said in the right time. It was said in the wrong context. When the person is saying, I wanted to find me, and by the way, she's starting to defend herself now, okay, which means she's receiving everything you're saying as an attack, but you still didn't catch yourself, okay? And then your response, or your, what do you call it? Your response to that is, your reaction to that is, when I want to be a better me, I want to be a better me for you.
How about for yourself?
That's neediness. That's neediness. You need her to agree with you
Validate,
now.
yeah.
You need her to validate you. You are it's approval seeking behavior, and it's camouflaged in a macho man who just want to takes care of his family.
Well, what I'm hearing from her is she's overwhelmed. That is real.
Yep.
That's a real thing. I don't understand when people.
But she's overwhelmed. How? She does nothing.
Baby, it doesn't matter if she does nothing. Now she's taking care of everyone. She's putting more of her energy into everyone, and she's leaving herself behind. That means she's not even enjoying anything for herself.
Yeah.
And you could get lost. You could really lose yourself in that moment.
All right, good. I'm actually happy that I have their pictures. That's their picture on the screen if you're watching us.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyway.
Bam.
That's what I said in my speech.
I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry. The idea of losing yourself to come into marriage is bullshit. You need to be 100%. Both parties need to be 100%. That's where happy marriages come from.
That's right.
You don't lose 50% and then you lose 50% and then suddenly we become happy. That's what holy people say. Okay. And it just never works.
Holy people.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
My God.
Let's continue.
That when I don't want in your speech for you to be saying, you know, hey, I'm just doing me now.
So I don't want in your speech to be saying, hey, I'm just doing me now. Can you even review yourself as a controlling person even more than that?
It's concerned about what it looks like to other people. He doesn't want to hear that.
Doesn't want to hear her.
Yeah.
He's more concerned about what other people would think of him. If they hear that you were struggling. Did you know that it's actually a strength if you admit that once upon a time my wife struggled in our marriage?
Oh,
but he probably won't see that. Yeah, they're trying to protect everything they have left, but it's just crumbs. It's gonna. I believe in them. I think they love each other. I think they're gonna have to crash all the way to the bottom before they build it back up. It's just extremely nasty.
Now my husband ain't done nothing, you know. But
why would you say that? That's not being real.
I don't want to walk in.
But why would I say that? Do I ever discredit you like that?
Yes.
I do?
Yeah, I was just telling you about that.
I discredit you. I was like, my husband.
I discredit whatever discredit you like that. So he's feeling like they discredited him. We mentioned that earlier. And he said, whatever discredited you, whenever I discredited you like this, you just did. I was just telling you, well, that's the weakest point for a man. Sorry.
So he made it about himself.
It was all about him. He had to make it about himself. He doesn't know when to pull back and just say, you know what? Let me back off. Let me just take care of my woman emotionally. This is not about the financial right now. Okay. All that stuff doesn't make any sense when she's emotionally drained. And that's what this girl is. And the worst part about it right now, even her herself would not admit it because she wants to protect herself, the family, and especially him. She's trying to make like there's cameras there obviously, but it's just that it was too much and it's coming out. Yeah. And he hits that part right now. And it's coming out.
You think I'm doing everything?
Yeah, you said those words.
Really, Marcel?
I'm not a guy that needs, these are my responsibilities, but it kind of gets me a little bit when you make it seem like, oh my God, I was this stay-at-home mom, I had to do everything. And then
I guess I was looking at it from this perspective, like, yes, you was working, but once you got off of work, you got a chance to go do whatever it is you want to do. But you didn't have to worry about finding a babysitter.
Okay.
At nighttime, when you're off work and you hang out with your friends.
You go hang with the boys.
What day of the year am I ever?
So she said, you go hang out with your friends. And he goes,
she feels stuck
what
with
day
the
of
kids.
the year am I off? That's his defense. All right. By the way, the only thing that's really wrong with all of this is that he feels the need to argue with the woman. And somehow he thinks he's going to win. Well, that's not the only thing, but that's like a major thing. But that's also a sign of insecurity, but we keep going.
Ever off work?
Marcel, you know what I'm saying. You don't have to worry about trying to find a babysitter, call around, ask people to watch the kids for you. You get to just get up and go. For me, I'm with the kids all the time. No, I have to find a babysitter. I just can't leave my kids.
Oh, shucks, you gotta find a babysitter. Dang.
That's what I was doing earlier. You don't have no job. All you have to do is find a babysitter. That's too much for you.
The difference. This is what I'm saying.
babysitter.
It wasn't that.
Get
I
out
just
of
made
here.
a call.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what? I'm sorry, babe. I didn't realize how hard the life was.
Okay, so it's been sarcastic. Okay, and I think I should add that to the signs. That's one of the signs of an insecure man. They also become sarcastic. Maybe not insecurity, but it's a bad habit in a relationship to be sarcastic. Women do it a lot. Men do it a lot. Being sarcastic is terrible. It makes the other person feels terrible. And again,
Absolutely.
the quiet one, who is not normally the talker, finally they're saying something, but you're then making them feel like they need to continue to stay in their shell. Is a disaster that's brewing up, basically.
And he definitely right now he does not appreciate his wife. For him to say those things, he has taken her for granted.
Let's be fair to him.
Because it seems he thinks it's an easy job to just be a housewife. You're cleaning and taking care of the kids.
Right.
Oh, you couldn't find a babysitter. Oh, great. Like, yo, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. So what the picture you're looking at is what it looks like before people go to court and calls it before people go to a court and calls it irreconcilable differences. What you're looking at is exactly what it looks like. Okay. So basically Martel and Melody are actually in a better place. I think they filed for divorce. They're in a better place now because perspectives will come like, wait, I'm about to lose this woman. Wait, I'm losing my family. Everyone will kind of step up now and see if they can save the situation.
This one does not know yet.
This one's there's like a slippery slope right now. It's extremely bad. If I were to predict, I'm not God, but human beings are predictable, basically, if you learn this stuff.
I do not need this distraction right now before I get ready to do my speech. Marcel always tell me, don't let anything distract you from your goals. And right now, he's the distraction. So you gonna come to the event?
I got a lot of stuff to do, babe.
So she asked, are you going to come to the event where she's having a speech?
He got salty.
And his butt hurt.
He can't even support. He can't even be there for his wife. Be a fan for a minute. The spotlight is shifted from you for a minute to your wife.
Let me be fair to him. It's an extremely difficult when you're caught up in your feeling. Men don't like to admit that they can be caught up in their feeling. When you're caught up in your feeling and you have to just step up and be a leader, it's difficult. It's very hard if you don't build yourself emotionally with respect to a marriage and a relationship. It can be very hard because all you're seeing is blank. You're just a woman who is narcissistic.
That's not being appreciated.
Who is not appreciative, who doesn't. That's all you're seeing. And it takes a certain level of strength, emotional strength, to come to a place and say, but that's my woman. Maybe not now. Maybe she will come back and meet me in the middle later. Let me just be there for her in this moment.
Just need to breathe in this moment.
So you can be so butthurt where you now feel like I don't want to go support. Like butthurt is a real thing. Like you feel like I can't even believe she won't let me. And then so put a camera in front of them. So multiply that by 1,000 times effect. The ego has been tested.
Yes,
it's a real thing, and it can get really, really bad. All right. So, and I think it's going to get worse for these guys until they come back and hopefully become a real couple and be in a real marriage, for real. But right now, he's caught up in his feelings. He's not in a place where he can give to his lady outside of financial. He does that well. I think we got that clear. But he doesn't even feel that that's enough. If it was enough, he wouldn't feel the need to respond. So let's see here. We have Shirley is hanging out with us. Hi, Shirley. Shirley says,
hi, Shirley.
He's always like that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen this show now. We're a fan of the show, for 2 seasons. And we saw this from day one. Yeah, he's
so predictable.
Good guy. But it has nothing to do with good guy. Wrong, right, has nothing to do with that. Good guys lose their wife all the time. Lose their family all the time. Good people lose their relationship all the time. It's nothing new about that, right? All right. So let's dive in right now. I think that's pretty much. What do you think? You have anything to say about Marcel and love and marriage before we move on forward to the 14 signs of an insecure man? I
wish him good luck, especially with that energy he's putting on social media. I really wish him.
It's too much energy you need to put into your family that you're putting on social media. It's just too much. Or into your business. Like, come on, how do you have time for that? But I'm hopeful that was just an assistant that was replying.
Oh, okay.
He could be
It
that
could be.
petty.
Yeah, you
So
never
it
know.
could be that petty. Speaking of petty, let's go into 14 signs
Yes,
of,
let's
of
do
an
it.
insecure man. And basically what I'm going to say it, and then you tell me what comes to mind. Maybe you want to describe it more, examples, whatever, obviously we don't give
Okay.
examples.
Let's do it.
All right. So the number 14, let's count it down. How about that? Let's count it down. Number 14, signs of obsessed with childhood ideologies. What does that mean to you?
Childhood ideologies. Maybe to me, what I'm thinking is he how he saw his father do things?
Yes.
This is culture in it too. Like this is how things are supposed to be.
Yes, that's what exactly that is.
And then he struggles with that. Like, how are you not understanding that I'm a man and this is what it's supposed to be like?
Yep. If he's obsessed with it, he will feel the need to become argument, right? So it comes from how you were raised, right? I'm not saying people should not hold on or stand for something. It's how you express it. See,
but times also change.
I have childhood ideologies too.
You can't be rigid.
I'm just not obsessed with them, right? I have childhood ideologies, and even if my childhood ideologies just does inject into my life, by the way, by default. I don't even have to stress it too much. But when you're obsessed with it, you feel the need to say it all the time and then say it and then try to control the other person with it.
Yes.
What kind of family do you come from? What kind of nonsense? They start running their mouths, especially if it's the talker. And then what do you do? What kind of effect do you leave on a person by saying those kind of things? But it comes from obsession with your childhood ideologies. If you're obsessed with what you've always known, culture, religion, politics, those kind of things that are emotionally driven. Right. When you now get with a new person, a wife, you'll be thrown off if they're a little bit different from that.
Yeah.
So if you're not strong enough,
you don't expect them to push back on certain things.
Yeah. So if a person is obsessed with childhood ideologies, that's number 14, sign of insecurity. Because if it's that good of an ideology, why do you feel the need to express it? Why must you be obsessed with it? If it's so good, you don't need to be obsessed with it. It's just this, right? All right, number 13, similar, but critical. And critical with a woman, basically. What comes to mind as far as maybe an example of a behavior when a man is critical with a woman?
I feel like they always have something negative to say. Like, not sometimes when someone tells you something, it's not because they want your input. They just want you to listen. That's not the time to now get something like what Marcel just did with Tisha.
Right.
That's a good example of
so critical. So you have people sometimes will come and say, I'm a critical thinker. So you're not making any sense.
I think they're missing the point.
Well, they're not wrong that they're critical thinkers. It's just that doesn't work in relationships. You have to calm down and listen to the other person. Now, I don't know who this person is. Who is this from CSC VOC Church? Who is this? Which one of my pastors is this? Please mention your name. Thank you. Let us know who you are.
Everyone
it doesn't say NJ, so it's not. I know it's not mine.
Environment. As we grow, we must learn to adapt. Absolutely. You know, the problem is people don't want to adapt. They hold on to that staunch beliefs.
Yes. And people that don't want to adapt, that's a sign of insecurity. It means whatever you believe in is not even that strong in the first place. Because if it were that strong, why do I feel like, is that Pastor Abiara? If that's you, we're just watching it today on our wedding 13 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep, Pastor Isaac. How are you, sir?
Hello, sir.
Thank you for stopping by, sir. I was just uploading the videos from 13 years ago to Vimeo. Yep. Thank you for stopping by. That's amazing. Yeah. So if it was that good, you wouldn't need to be critical. If it's that good, you won't need to be critical with a woman. If it's that good, you will allow her to express herself so that at least you can maybe whatever you're expressing, you want to reshape it and you want to share with her in a way that's now with respect to how she's looking at things. But if you're not listening in the first place and you're critical, right, you're shutting her off. And sometimes You will listen. If you remember, Marshall was listening a little bit. He was listening.
He was listening to respond. He wasn't listening.
When you're listening and you already know your answer.
That is listening to respond.
Yeah.
You're picking words out so you can attack.
That means you're not paying attention to what she's saying. And if you're not paying attention to what she's saying, you're human.
You react.
You're still going to she saw. You're still going to say the wrong thing, right? And when I say she saw, I mean something that she will receive as an attack. So now you have this back and forth, and the end of that is just never good. It's terrible. Okay. All right. So number 12, toxic apologies. All right.
Toxic apologies.
Let's talk about Shonda and Will now. Right. That's there. Right. But what comes to be, I will tell you in a second why they relate to that. But tell me what comes to mind when I say toxic apologies.
When all you want to do is like if you want to shut me up with "I'm sorry" right now, just because you don't want to hear what I have to say. But I said I'm sorry. Isn't that enough for you? That is toxic.
Yep, exactly. Because again, anything you use as manipulation, controlling, anything that you use to just shut up. So it could be the guy who doesn't talk a lot. But I'm sorry. So that's insecurity. But the other flip side of it is you don't apologize at all. You think it's a weakness for you to apologize, right? So there's no extreme that works when it comes to relationship. Like Pastor said earlier, you have to adapt. Yeah, you're in a relationship with another human being, another entire human being.
Right.
And she changes, she evolves from situations, from
we all do
issues to issues, and stuff like that. So, and if you have a gross disrespect for that, you have a problem. So, toxic apology is basically when you have a hard time saying I'm sorry ever because you think that means you're wrong, and I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. Or you're very quick to go to I'm sorry because she's nagging. If she's a nagger and the way you want to fix it is saying I'm sorry, all of that speaks insecurity. Okay, it just means you don't feel secured enough about yourself that you can actually get this woman on the same page with you. It's a lot, but maybe not directly apologies. It relates to other things. It's going to get deeper. Okay, petty guys. Okay, they get petty. Okay,
guys that don't let women get away with anything. You say one thing, they have to have a response, and they go below the belt. Petty guys, those are the ones I don't really. My least favorite guys. Sorry, I won't say that.
Pettiness is not like everything else is not right and wrong. Okay, being petty means you're willing to throw everything away and just get nasty with her, right? You want to get into that competition.
Tit for tat
with her. If you're doing that, that's a sign of insecurity. Because again, if you're secured in yourself as a human being first, even before we even talk about man, there will be that will be too much energy you're investing in making her get your point by being petty. I'm gonna make her note. I'm gonna go sleep downstairs today so she can know that she will miss me. That's even the mildest of them.
That's mild.
Yeah.
You see guys going in calling women all kind of names, like totally disrespectful.
All right, so Pastor said toxic apologies and apologies just for the sake of it. A real apology is heartfelt. Yes, absolutely. I agree.
True.
Because again, the point of it is that your apology is actually making her feel like you don't mean that. Heartfelt. So heartfelt for me, apology. I won't say it's never needed. Okay, it's needed when she asks for it. You've never apologized for me, or she tells somebody else that you've never apologized to me, rather, right? You never apologize, right? She's the one that's always apologizing to you, right? But sometimes people, like for example, extreme infidelity, right? I call it extreme because many people consider it extreme, right? Infidelity, but you now say, I said I'm sorry.
But I said I'm sorry.
That's why.
It's like, what else do you want? Do you want my head?
That's why it's apology not accepted.
Yes.
That's exactly why the apology is not being accepted, because again, it's not heartfelt. She's not asking for apology, and the best apology is always a changed
behavior. Not just saying it all the time. I actually don't like people who apologize too much. It's
irritating. It's irritating to most people to just be run to apology as a quick fixer. Again, you don't have any patience. You're just looking to fix. All right. We received that. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So let's go to number 10. Signs of an insecure man. We're talking about signs of insecure man. I know an insecure man is somewhere saying, what about women? Okay, all right.
We're talking about men today. We talked about women last week. Today's men.
Yeah. By the way, that's a good sign of an insecure man. If you always find yourself saying, what about women? About we should balance, or you go to Instagram programs and Facebook and always say we should balance it. If that's where you always find yourself, that's insecurity. That's speaking, because you should be able to identify when a topic is a topic, and if you're doing that, those behaviors spread across different platforms. So you're gonna go home and do the same thing with your woman. You don't know when to just be. Let me give. Let me use this moment to just give. So this is a moment to give to men. These behaviors are it's signs of insecure men. Let's focus on that.
Okay.
All right, let's go to number 10. Toxic masculinity. I'm a big believer in masculine and feminine energy, that they do play a role in how you relate in relationships. But there's something called toxic masculinity.
Is toxic masculinity like a deadbeat?
No.
Yeah, enlighten me. I think I might be confusing it sometimes.
Toxic masculinity is if you feel like you want to prove to a person that you're masculine.
Oh, you want to prove yourself all the time.
Yeah, if you have to prove it.
Oh,
that's a problem. That's problematic. If you have to prove that you are masculine.
That means you're not secure.
Masculine, a true masculine energy never have to prove nothing. And he's not even thinking that unless he teaches it. I teach it. That's why I talk about it. He's not thinking masculine. Other people see him as masculine. The woman sees him as, no, I love my men to be masculine. It doesn't go like, but I'm masculine. Oh, by the way, they don't usually say masculine. They say, but I'm the man. All right. That's another example of it, right? So if you feel like you have to say that,
it's already toxic.
That's a weak moment as a man, and that's you're insecure. You're feeling insecure. That's why you feel like you should say that. And we talked about it kind of like that's just a mild version of it. But people take this to extremes. Toxic masculinity is what Marshall was doing.
He's proving himself. Yeah.
Yes, he needs to prove himself. He needs credit. He needs appreciation. We all do, by the way. We all do. Again, we're just talking about the toxic.
It feels good when you're being appreciated.
Yeah, everybody likes to be appreciated. For those here hustlers.
I feel like if you have to demand it, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. If you have to demand it, it's already wrong. There's something you're doing to command that, to attract that. And that thing is what you should find out and go fix. And it's going to take time, patience. And a person who is well secured understands patience. They don't ever discount patience. Patience is absolutely necessary at any point in time.
I mean, that's one of the things that Yoruba culture preaches. Suru laughing shoko. That's a fact. It doesn't make the woman evil, but I believe in patience.
Yeah, anything that's worthwhile, like a beautiful woman, will require patience. Or a happy marriage. Or a company that's recession proof, a business that's recession proof, or a career that you can count on, right? That you're not going to get fired tomorrow. Anything that's worthwhile in life requires patience.
Absolutely, I agree.
And if you want it bad enough, it doesn't. You understand that's part of your investment. All right. So number 9. Trust issues. A man that has trust issues, I don't. That's self-explanatory.
That's
right?
very,
that's like opposite.
Yeah, that's very unattractive.
Because some of them are very quick to admit it. I got trust issues. Well,
that's not a good thing.
That's insecurity.
That is not an accolade. You need to work on that.
And granted, it comes from childhood. Some people were disappointed by a girlfriend in high school, so now they're looking at their wife always sideways.
Some people have abandonment issues. It comes from
abandonment issues.
So they just don't trust people.
Yes.
Comes from any. It could come from anything.
Yes, absolutely. All right, this one, number 8, jealous.
Some people say it's healthy to be jealous.
Yes, all of this is unhealthy levels of them. Jealous is I envy you. I envy
I don't
that
like
person.
envy.
No, so envy too. So envy too. Depending on, are you saying that or you're acting it? If I say I envy you, that's not a bad thing. If I'm saying it to you, that's not always a bad thing.
It's not always a bad thing, because people actually say that like a compliment sometimes. Well, when do you know when someone really envy you? When they really mean that they envy you?
The one you should be worried about is they act it.
That's true.
Like you feel it.
They can't pretend for so long.
Of you.
Yeah, they can't pretend.
But if a person who is your friend, the person in relationship with you, say,
I envy you, you're enjoying you.
I don't know if they act it, but I'm saying that statement should not be taken overboard. Just take that grain of salt. It's compliment, right? Jealousy is not the same word exactly, but again, there's a place where you can be jealous. I don't like anybody, leave my wife alone. Jokingly, fun, all funs, sure. A man that acts jealous,
that will
embarrass you in public.
That's not good.
Okay, if something looks like too shady, too fast, right? He will overreact. Okay, so that's insecurity. I think that's self-explanatory. So again, all of this stuff should be self-explanatory. Is when it gets to a toxic level. These are all human characteristics. But when it gets to a point, it's just not healthy.
You have to be able to control yourself.
Yeah, it's just not healthy. Because again, overly jealous spirits will make you overreact.
Oh yeah.
That's insecurity. Okay, these are the signs of an insecure man. Number 7. Needy, attached, clingy, and smothering.
Oh my God. That's not being self-sufficient. Like, depending on
what does this look like in real life? Let's forget the big words for a second. Needy, attached, clingy, smothering.
You need someone to validate you every time.
Need validation. So let's lump it together. Okay. No, let's not lump it together. We'll talk about it when we get there. Needy is, some of this stuff may be the same thing. It's just described in different ways. Clingy, physically clingy. Check on it. Like, where are you right now?
Oh yeah.
But, that
can be a turn off.
There's a level that gets to with respect to the person you're with. Maybe different in your relationship. Your wife may say, "You never check on me." Remember, it's not the extreme of both.
Yes,
it's in between.
You need a balance.
She is always saying, "You never check on me." That means you need to check on her every now and then.
Right.
That means you are poor at you don't check on her. That's what that means, right? If she doesn't pick up half the time that you call,
and you leave 14 voice.
Who is counting? How many times do you call?
Messages.
How many times do you call? Oh my God.
Where were you? Why didn't you answer the call?
What were you doing?
Talking to a man.
But you knew I went to the movies. Yeah, that means you can't pick up my phone.
But I didn't see the call.
So again, maybe your intentions is not to be clingy, but you're coming off as that, and that's what that counts. That's the only thing that counts. If you're coming off as clingy, that's what counts. That's all that counts. And it's very important to just be aware of it. If you're aware of it and she's acting so much, you're like, give her some woman space. You don't want to wait until a woman asks you for space.
Yeah.
Give her some space,
I agree.
We're in a marriage. Why should we give space? You're supposed to sell 50% of give up 50% of yourself, and I give up 50% of myself, and then we become one.
No, that is so wrong. It sounds terrible.
Problematic. Yeah.
It sounds terrible.
Oh man. But that's why you're arguing. Okay. Speaking of argument, another sign of insecure men, number 6 is argumentative.
But people say, "Oh boy, it's natural. You're just having a healthy debate with your spouse."
Well, the reason why you're arguing is because you have a point. I get it. That's why people say, my point is you have a point, but you don't think you have a point. You're insecure. Okay, you don't really believe in your point. Or maybe you do, You need other people
You want to be heard.
You need other people to agree with you.
Right.
Okay.
That's true.
You're seeking validation, approval seeking behavior again. Okay. That's what creates argument. So what is a sign of an insecure man?
You have time to argue.
You have time to argue. Okay. If you have time to argue with a woman, and I say that some people, the air hustlers are going to be like, what do you mean a woman?
What do you mean? So you can't talk exactly.
Let's stay in context. All right. Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't go too far. Stay with me. Okay. We're talking about a man with respect to a woman. If you feel like you should, argumentative is not just argument anymore. It's toxic.
It is.
It's consistent. You do it all the time. And the reason why you're fighting so bad is because you really subconsciously don't trust what you're saying. Because if you do, especially if it's not something that's related to safety or security, right? Hey, don't drive that car out. The tires are bad. You're going to have an accident. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about, no, this is green. This is blue. That's all we're talking about. Like it's some petty stuff, right?
It's
and
really
you can't let go.
Let go, let God.
That's the sign of an insecure man. It's a sign. I'm not saying you're insecure, but it's a sign. Remember, they are 14, right? So don't bite my head off.
Real talk.
Speaking of, let's go to number 5. Okay. If you're aggressive to if you are meaning you're very later. That's 2. That's passive aggressiveness, right? If you're aggressive towards a woman, that's a sign of insecurity. What says you, babe?
Actually, in our culture, and I remember when we're growing up, they would say things like a man who is aggressive towards a woman, trying to fight a woman, is a coward, period.
Yep.
You shouldn't want to fight a woman. It's a no-no.
So what about a woman who is fighting a man? Different topic, okay? Different topic. Or what about a woman who is throwing oranges as a man?
You got to walk away. Take yourself from that situation. Remove yourself. Instantly.
Either you're a man or woman, doesn't matter. If somebody gets violence with you, remove yourself from that situation.
I don't care if you have 10 kids with that person. You have to take yourself out.
Remove yourself. Yeah. It's not worth it. Anything can go wrong very quickly when people are aggressive. Okay. Plus, no, a king does not get aggressive with a woman. Okay. Or especially with his queen. Come on. Like, that's self-explanatory. Okay. I don't care. Oh, yeah, she made me lose my cool. Dude, 2 wrongs don't make it right, bro. Remove yourself. Remove yourself. I learned that a long time ago from my father. He will grab his key and go play draft. Okay, Aro.
What?
Draft.
Oh, my dad, he knows how to do that. He will just walk out like, you know what, I need a breather.
I tell people all the time, even 2 minutes is enough for her to calm down.
Yes.
If you just remove yourself. But if you're there, you end up in arguments and stuff like that. Again, you know. So aggressive towards a woman is a sign of insecure man. This insecure man is not capable of being in a healthy relationship. It's not a crime. It's not a disease. Sort of mental, but
it's a weakness.
It's a weakness. It just means you need to learn.
And
you need
to
practice.
Change. Yeah.
It takes practice. And who's best to practice with than an aggressive woman? Practice with her. She's aggressive, running her mouth. Let's see if you can practice some patience with that and see if it works. Pick up some books. Don't just assume you know everything.
No.
You don't. We all don't know shit.
You have to keep learning.
All right. I think we have a pastor in the house.
No cussing, baby. No cuss words.
Number 4, obsessed with boundaries.
Yeah. You can't be rigid.
Set boundaries.
No.
Like everything else, boundaries is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
But it can become a bad thing. Okay, depending on how you handle it. If you're always talking boundaries, whenever you're talking with your wife, that's toxic. If every time you're talking with your wife, the word boundaries comes up, or with your husband, you have problems.
Kind of controlling.
You have problems. You want to set boundaries? Boundaries, freedom.
For an adult.
Freedom. You know, the Bible said we are called on to freedom. I just found out that the Bible said that.
Come on, baby.
What?
All these years you've been going
I'm
to
not the
church
best
with him.
Bible scholar in the world. Are you kidding me? I'm the worst.
Oh my God. Oh God. Yeah,
Anytime I
work in
see that the Bible
progress.
supports some of these
It makes sense.
things, I'm like, whoa, hallelujah. You know, because of my church folks, I'm a church boy, and I want people to, and I know that the Bible supports them, but I'm excited when I see a verse that supports that you have to love in a way that the other person feels free.
Yeah.
So when you talk boundary all the time, for the brain, it's like, oh my God, we're talking boundaries again. Am I saying boundaries are bad?
The brain will shut down.
It shuts
in that
down.
moment, like, oh my God.
Am I saying that boundaries are bad?
No.
I'm not saying boundaries are bad. I'm just saying boundaries. I prefer that they are a symptom of a good relationship. A wife who wants to respect you just because she knows that my man is, you know, he deserves the respect. Not because it's a rule to respect her. Not because the Bible says respect your husband. She just wants to respect you because of the dynamics of the relationship, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
A man who can't wait to love on you, right? That's what you want. Not because he feels entrapped, because the Bible said he must love his wife. That's not love. Hello?
He feels
entrapped. Are we confused here?
Wow.
Right?
So deep.
So obsessed with boundaries, if you're obsessed with boundaries so much that you talk about it so much, there's a good chance that you have underlying issues with how the dynamics of your relationships, and there's not enough giving in that relationship. Boundaries is another form of taking. You go into relationships to give. If you're asking for boundaries, again, you're obsessed with taking. You just want to take from the relationship. That's where boundaries come from. Other thing is that one person is expressing boundaries, there's some boundaries. That means it may be one person's ideology, wherever that boundary is, right? You know, that it's just a terrible place to be, where you feel like you have to say that all the time. Come on, you got to set boundaries for her, though. Okay. I need to be free.
For another adult, I just feel like, nah.
All right, we're almost rounding up.
Can't do that. Number because 3. You're already out of time. It's 7:02. That's CP time.
No, it's not CP time.
Yeah.
This was
Black people.
This was because of the upload I was doing earlier.
Excuses.
Excuses. Excuses are not signs of an insecure man, by the way.
It's okay. It is well. What's the next one?
You know why excuses are not? Because I believe all excuses are legitimate. It's just not relevant to relationship.
Okay. I hear you. Okay, with that being said, can we move to number 3?
Speaking of manipulating words, but go ahead. Number 3, worried about the ex.
Oh, that's bad.
If he is worried about how you show up to your ex, Vado, Tahiri, right? If he's worried about how you treated your ex better than me.
Always talking about ex, always comparing things.
Or he's asking you questions that seems like it's just come like, so tell me, what was it about? What was it like?
Why would you want to know that?
Yeah, you don't do that. Okay?
Yeah.
Like honestly, if I talk too much about that, I would say the wrong thing. That's how bad it is to talk about your woman's ex. It's a sign of insecurity. If you're secured in yourself, that nigga does not exist.
Exactly.
All right. Number 2, defensiveness and overreaction. Overreacting, basically.
That one is a common one.
English is wrong. All right. Yeah. Defensiveness and overreaction. It's a big issue. Let me capitalize.
It is a big issue.
Yep. So your reactions are essentially actions that you're responsible for. Okay, you don't get to say,
but because she pushed me,
she threw oranges at me, I must now choke her to death. No. In front of cameras. In fact, I lost my cool so much. There's camera that's covering and it's going to show to 10 million people, but I lost my cool. Hello, can I spell out insecurity a little bit more than that? Reactions are toxic. Okay, all right. Shirley says, that's okay. This is a good conversation. Thank you. But I had my pastor. Yeah, I had my pastor here. Sorry. All right. So yeah, defensiveness, overreacting. They're very defensive. They think everything's an attack. More so.
Yes.
They read something. Yes, the thing may be true that it's not really true, but You can't even like detach yourself. So this is grown folks' business. Relationships are grown folks' business.
Relationships are not easy.
It's not for children. Easy, hard, difficult are not relevant in relationships.
You got to work at it.
When they are beautiful, they're worth it. So we don't worry if it's easy or not. You just work to have a healthy relationship. But people will
say it's supposed to be easy. If it has to be this hard, well, then maybe I'm in the wrong relationship.
True.
Like, but you have to you have to work out at your relationship the same way you work out at your career. You can't just be complacent.
Well, I think she was saying that's okay because of the time.
Oh, the CP.
CP time.
Yeah. It's okay, I guess.
You know, I mean, relationship. The truth is that it's like starting a business and say this is hard, and I'm like, okay.
Every good thing.
Everything
doesn't come easy.
Yeah. Plus, practice makes perfect. The more you practice and learn and become a student and have these conversations, if you're a couple, have these conversations.
I think that's the important part of it, actually.
Yeah. Having this kind of conversation as a couple is much more effective than going to therapy. First of all, it's free. Number two, you know, you will embody it, you will live it.
Yeah, aware of
right.
situations.
Plus, you're secured. Both of you are secured enough to have these conversations. I know people that are not comfortable having conversations about marriage, relationships, because honestly, they're not sure about tomorrow. And obsession about yesterday and tomorrow is the number one cause of sadness. Is the number one cause of depression.
Fear of the unknown.
Yes, fear of the unknown. You don't know how to live in the present, right? That will cause you heartaches, you know, and you will struggle. Like right now, I am not worried about anything after this minute, right? The only thing I'm worried about is I do want to be on time. My wife was right. So let's go to number one.
I got babies to worry about. Okay.
Needs validation, approval, and reassurance. I think we've said that a few times, but it's number one. It's the number one cause of all of this stuff, you know, because if you're secured, a person can say something that's wrong completely about you, and you may be like, interesting. Tell me more, you know, what do you mean? But this is how I look at it. And then she starts to become argument. You're just like, okay. Oh, okay. And it's easier said than done. Okay.
Very easier.
It's easier said than done. But what you've seen is that it gets very toxic and people start going back and forth and back and forth. And I said, man, we're talking about men today. If you feel yourself going back and forth and it's a consistent thing, you may feel like, hey, there's nothing wrong. I'm just correcting my wife. A gentleman said, I treat my wife like my children.
What? Kill me.
Oh, well, you know, let me not take him out of context. Wife loves it, right?
Are you sure she loves it?
I don't know. I'm not in their situationship,
yes,
right? I'm not in their entanglement. All right. But yeah, you know, validation is when you said something, maybe you even truly believe in it, but you find yourself acting like maybe you don't even believe in it. You need other people to believe in it before you feel good about it.
Yes.
Approval, seeking behavior. You need them to say yes. That's basically arguments. You know, arguments, we all argue. But a man should avoid arguments with a woman. Why do I say that? Because it's going to happen. So you need to avoid it. How do you avoid it? You're not being dismissive. That's not what I'm talking about. It means change it, translate it, find the strength to transform it into active listening to what she has to say.
All right.
Breathe between. Don't just be quiet, awkward, because awkward energy is just as bad.
We pick up on that.
She will pick it up, right? It's wisdom that's needed there.
Yes, so
reassurance, same thing. Potato. You need to be reassured. That's feminine energy. Please don't take an offense. It's feminine energy that a woman needs reassurance. So as a man, you should be the one giving the reassurance, not asking for reassurance. If you pay the bills, good for you. Good for you. Okay? That's not all it takes to be a man. Okay? As a matter of fact, you may not even pay a bill if you're really good at listening to her emotionally, making her feel heard. She will open up everything. You can penetrate everything.
Jesus.
Mind, soul, body, mind, everything. All she needs is to feel heard. That's
Yes,
it.
so.
Not even your money.
You want to be
She will give you
heard.
her money. Okay, that's game I just gave you. She will give you her money, and even if you can bring money to the table, that's a good thing, because that will be a turn off. If you're not a provider too, at some point that will be a turn off. But that's all we have for you today. You have anything else to add on to this?
No, you've exhausted me today.
I did. Well, you were exhausted before we came on. I think you were a little tired.
Yeah. I need a solid, good.
Because sometimes
tonight.
we come here and I'm the one trying to put us on time, and you're the one that's like forgetting that there is time.
Oh, well.
Right.
Yeah.
But let me just quickly appreciate everyone that's here. Appreciate
you,
Shirley.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Pastor
stopping by.
Isaac. Thank you. Thanks. Good to hear from you. And anybody who plugged in throughout the session.
Yes.
And video will be up in a minute. And then please give it a thumbs up, give it likes, comments, all of that good stuff. Share it.
Yes, so
share it with your friends. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. And peace.
Thank you. Gotta go.